Hello everyone, welcome to EduTap. So let's begin our today's session. But before I start this session, first of all, thank you so much for loving the previous session so much. And yes, now we are going to continue the same format. And in today's format, first of all, we are going to discuss the questions based on the previous session, right? So that will ensure that whatever you have studied, you are revising it right. Also, we are going to discuss the answer of the homework question, and then we will begin the news which we are supposed to discuss in our today's session. And this is the format which we are going to continue for the rest of the sessions as well. So thank you so much for joining, and I welcome you all to our today's session. All right. So first of all, as far as the agenda for our today's class is concerned, the things which we are going to discuss. So firstly, we are going to do the revision. Then we are going to discuss about livestock health and disease control program, global wheat and rice production, marine conservation efforts, initiatives to address the declining groundwater levels, initiatives to combat milk adulteration, budget allocation for the Department of Fertilizer. So students, in our today's session, we are going to study a lot of the initiatives. These initiatives can be the new ones also, and these initiatives can be the older ones, and now they have been in news for one or the other reason. So we are going to discuss them. But here the catch is that these initiatives, these schemes, they are important not just from our phase 1 perspective or the objective perspective, but they are equally important from the phase 2 and the descriptive perspective. How come? Because like for example, in this news, we are going to see, we are going to study about the livestock health and disease control program. Now, if a descriptive question comes on animal husbandry and they are asking about the initiatives which government have taken, so you can quote the initiatives which we are going to discuss today. Similarly, if they talk about the marine resources, you can again quote here. If they talk about the groundwater levels, so again you can mention the initiatives which we are going to discuss today. So this session, the initiatives which we are going to see, they are going to be helpful not just from phase 1 perspective but also from the phase 2 perspective. All right. And here is the question. So first of all, let's discuss the homework questions answer. So the homework question was, under which act was the Bharatiya Beej Sahakari Samiti Limited was established? So the correct answer for this question is option number B. It was established under the multi-state cooperative societies. So the cooperative societies which are working at a national level or which are working in more than two states, one state, sorry, they are working, they are operating at a national level or they are operating in more than one states. So such kind of cooperative societies, they are established under the Multi-State Cooperative Societies Act, right? So for this reason, the correct answer here is option number B. Now let us discuss the other questions. So here is the first question. Now we are doing the revision of the last session. So the first question says, which of the following statements best explains the alignment of the Digital Crop Survey System with the Digital Personal Data Protection Act 2023? I'm waiting for your answer. Kindly tell me what is the answer of this question. Statements best Okay, so let me reveal you. The correct answer for this question is option number C, right? So it collects the data from the farmers only with their consent and it gives them control over data sharing. So the correct answer here is option number C. Yes, Alkananda Devi, your answer is absolutely correct. Now, let's talk about question number 2. Under the government's initiatives to promote the cooperatives, which scheme specifically targets support for women self-help groups through agriculture credit cooperatives, right? So you have to talk about this question also. You have to keep in mind this particular thing here, which is mentioned in the question, that through agriculture cooperative societies. We discussed this thing in a great detail in the last session. So kindly tell me the correct answer of this question. Okay, now let me reveal the correct answer. So the correct answer here is option number B, Swayam Shakti Sahakar Yojana. All right. Yes, Alkananda Devi, your answer is correct. It's option number B. Now let's talk about the third question. Which financial incentive is provided to the PACS operating the PMBJK? This is Pradhan Mantri Bharatiya Jan Aushadhi Kendras under the Pradhan Mantri Bharatiya Jan Aushadhi Pariyojana. Right, so you have to tell which of the following statements is correct. If I have to reveal the correct answer here, the correct answer is option number C, which is that 20% incentives on the monthly purchases from the PMBI capped at rupees 20,000. So the correct answer here is option number C. Okay, now let's move towards next question. The White Revolution 2.0 aims to increase milk procurement by dairy cooperatives by what percentage over the next 5 years? Yes, Alkananda Devi, the answer which you are giving for the previous question, it is correct. Okay, so for this question, the correct answer is option number C, 50%, right? Now, let's move towards the next question. The next question says, which of the following statements is not correct regarding the Tribhuvan Sehkari University? So the correct answer for this question is option number B. It is not going to be located at Pusa, Delhi. It is going to be located in Gujarat, IRTM, Gujarat, right? Yes, Anonymous, your answer is correct, 50%. Athira is saying C. Okay, so you are giving the answer of the last question. So yes, the answer is 50%, C is correct. And Anonymous, I think you are giving the answer for this question B, which is correct. Yes, Alkananda Devi, your answer is correct. Sparsh, your answer is also correct. It's option number B. Okay, now let's discuss the next question. Which Indian state recently exported its first ever shipment of anthurium flowers to Singapore? Kindly tell me the correct answer, please. So now let me tell the correct answer. The correct answer for this question is option number C, Mizoram. This was one of the easiest questions for our today's session. No, Alkananda Devi, the correct answer is not Sikkim, it is Mizoram. Yes, Athira, Anonymous, your answer is correct. It's option number, yes, it's Mizoram. Harish, Sparsh, you are also giving the correct answer for this question. So students, with this question, we have discussed all the questions from our previous session. Now we are going to study the news for our today's session. If you feel that there was some shortcomings, you were not able to recall, or you were not able to mark the answers correct, I'll request you, please do go through the PDF of the last session so that you can revise things better. All right, on that note, let's start our today's session. So the first news says that the cabinet approves revision of the Livestock Health and Disease Control Program, right? So this program, it was initially launched in year 2013 and now it has been revised. Now what are the components and what are the objectives of this particular program? So first of all, as far as this program is concerned, so the first thing we have to keep in mind is the financial allocation. What is the budgetary allocation for this particular program? So it is rupees 3,880 crores, right? 3,880 crores has been allocated to this particular program. Now, what is the objective of this particular program? So the first objective is to prevent and control the livestock diseases, right? There are a lot of livestock diseases, and these diseases, first, they reduce the productivity of the cattle. Secondly, they also cause economic loss to the farmers. If you guys remember, in like some 2-3 years back, there was this widespread lumpy skin disease in the cows which we saw. A lot of cows died because of that particular disease, and it caused huge economic loss to the farmers also, because a lot of our rural masses, apart from the agriculture, they are dependent on the dairy, they are dependent on the animal husbandry as a profession. Now, it is very important for these diseases to be treated, to be vaccinated, for these cattle to be vaccinated before, so that the economic losses can be brought down, so that the productivity of the cattle can be increased, right? So keeping all these things in mind, we have launched this particular scheme, which is the Livestock Health and the Disease Control Program, right? Now, for this particular scheme, there are 3 components. Earlier, there were 3 components. One more component has been added here. We are going to discuss that as well. So the first component is the critical animal disease control, right? Control program. So this particular program, this particular component of this scheme, it will focus on the critical diseases, right? Because there are a lot of diseases which are more widespread, which are more fatal as far as the cattle are concerned, and therefore this particular component, it is going to focus on those diseases. Now, one thing I want to tell you here, that in our animal husbandry static part, there are a lot of diseases. There the bacteria or the viruses which cause them, a lot of symptoms, and we often suggest that you don't have to go through all of that, because it becomes very huge task. It become a humongous task to remember all that. Now, in this particular article, this news article, it is from PIB, few diseases were named. Now it becomes important on our part to go through the causing agents for that particular disease, what are the symptoms of that particular disease, because if that particular disease is in news, it becomes more important. So for this particular news article, diseases like foot and mouth disease, brucellosis, PPR, a lot of such diseases are in news, so you have to go through them. Now, let's talk about the second component. The second component is establishment and strengthening of the veterinary hospitals and dispensaries, to make sure that the veterinary infrastructure, it is robust and it is reaching the last milestones. We are going to focus on this particular component. We are going to establish the veterinary hospitals, and we are going to strengthen the already existing ones. One way of doing that is the mobile veterinary units. Okay? Mobile veterinary units means these are going to be some ambulance or the some mobile, like some vehicle on which we are going to make a mini veterinary hospital in that particular vehicle, and then this vehicle will go to the last milestones to make sure that the veterinary services, they are reaching even to the not so well served areas, right? Now let's talk about the next component. The next component is assistance to the states for the control of animal diseases. So under this component, the state governments, they will be given the support, the financial support, the technical support by the central government, so that if there is any widespread disease in that particular state, that can be catered to. Right now, there is one more component which has been introduced now. It is the Pashu Aushadhi. In this Pashu Aushadhi component, we are going to make sure that the generic medicines, okay? In that in the last session we discussed about the generic, what is this? We discussed about the generic medicines for the human beings. Okay? Pradhan Mantri Jan Aushadhi Yojana. Now, Jan Aushadhi Yojana, generic medicines for the human beings. Pashu Aushadhi, generic medicines for the animals, right? So this is the newly launched component, and under for this newly launched component, in the budget we have given 75 crores. Okay? For this Pashu Aushadhi, we have dedicated 75 crores. So this was the entire news here. Now let us talk about the next news, which is the FAO projects record global wheat and rice production for 2025, right? So for this particular news, like there is not a lot of thing which you have to keep in mind, nothing much to understand here. You just have to keep in mind that the Food and Agriculture Organization, it has anticipated that the wheat production for the year 2025, it has reached a record level of 790 96 million tons, right? Now also the rice production, it is going to hit the 543 million tons for the 2024-2025 season. So this is purely the data which you have to remember. There is nothing much to understand here in this particular news. Now on that note, let's move towards the next news, which is the India enhances the marine conservation efforts with the advanced technology, right? Again, this news, it is from PIB, and in this particular news we are going to see what are the different initiatives that government has taken to first of all to conserve the marine resources and to increase the productivity of the marine resources. So one such effort is that the Zoological Survey of India, they have conducted the India's largest coral translocation project. So you know that there are coral reefs in the oceans. Now near the Jamnagar we all know for obvious reasons. So in the Jamnagar, Indian Oil Corporation, they were having a pipeline. Now that pipeline, it was very old and it was supposed to be changed. If the pipeline has to be changed, this coral reef, it could have been damaged. To prevent the damage to this particular coral reef, it was relocated 5 kilometers away from that particular location to Narara in Gujarat. So this translocation project, it was one of the largest translocation project in India, which was undertaken by the Zoological Survey of India. So this is one particular news, that's the translocation of the coral resources. This ensured that the development and the conservation of the resources, it goes hand in hand. ठीक है? उसके बाद में the next initiative is the Pradhan Mantri Matsya Sampada Yojana. Under this Pradhan Mantri Matsya Sampada Yojana, 937 artificial reef units have been installed. Now what are these? We all know that there are natural reefs in the oceans. ठीक है? In the subtidal, in the intertidal areas, there are reefs. Now we are locating, or we are making artificial reefs in those areas so that the fishes, the other marine animals, they can establish their colonies in these particular reefs. This will ensure that the productivity is increased, and also this will ensure that the effect of the tidals on the shores, on the coasts, it is reduced, right? So for these particular reasons, both to conserve the marine resources and also to make sure that the fishermen, they are going to have better productivity, they are going to have better catch from the seas, the oceans. This particular step, it has been taken. Now let's talk about the third initiative here. The third is that India is the lead country in the Glow Litter Partnership Program by the International Maritime Organizations, right? So this Glow Litter Partnership Program, it has been launched by the International Maritime Organization, and this particular program, it focuses on tackling the marine plastic litter issues because of the shipping and the fishery industry. Okay? Because of the fisheries, because of the shipping industry, whatever litter happens, whatever plastic waste is created in the ships and the oceans, we have to tackle it. And India is leading currently in this Glow Litter Partnership Program, right? So these are the few initiatives, these are the few steps which government has taken as far as our marine conservation programs are concerned, right? Now let's talk about the next news. The next news is about declining groundwater levels. Okay? What are the initiatives which government has taken regarding the declining water levels, right? So the government has taken a lot of the initiatives, and some of them are old also. Most of them are actually old, and these initiatives, they were again mentioned in the PIB, and therefore it becomes important for us to go through them. So the first is the National Aquifer Mapping. Okay? National Aquifer Mapping. So what are aquifers? Aquifers are basically the rock layers which are permeable in nature. ठीक है? permeable rocks होती हैं, तो उनके थ्रू जो पानी होता है वो ग्राउंड लेवल पे ग्राउंड वाटर लेवल की तरह स्टोर हो जाता है, एंड देन वी कैन यूज दैट पर्टिकुलर वाटर यूजिंग द वेल्स एंड अदर थिंग्स. ठीक है? सो these are the aquifers. Under this particular program, we are going to first map the aquifers, the areas where these aquifers are located, and secondly, we are going to manage, we are going to conserve these aquifers, right? So this is the National Aquifer mapping program, and it is being undertaken by the Central Groundwater Board. Right now, the next is the Mission Amrit Sarovar. Now, this Mission Amrit Sarovar, what is the aim? The aim is the development and the rejuvenation of the water bodies, 75 water bodies in each district, and till now 69,000 Amrit Sarovars, such water bodies, have been constructed or rejuvenated. Either you are going to construct new water bodies or you are going to rejuvenate the older ones, right? Now let's talk about the next news. The next news is that the Department of Agriculture and Farmers Welfare, they are implementing a scheme which is the per drop more crop, right? This scheme, it is very, very important because it is a part of the Pradhan Mantri Krishi Sinchai Yojana. It is one of the flagship schemes of the government, and this scheme is very, very important, right? So per drop more crop. Now in this particular scheme, what we are going to do, we are going to enhance the efficiency of our cropping patterns, right? Because most of the time we use a lot of water to produce a given amount of crops. Here we have to use the micro irrigation technologies, micro irrigation techniques, so that the amount of water that we are going to use for a particular amount of crops, that can be reduced, right? So that is the major aim behind this particular scheme, which is the per drop more crop, right? And from 2015-16 till December 2024, an average of 94.36 lakh hectare has been covered under micro irrigation. Okay? So this micro irrigation, it has been spread to this many lakh hectares of area in our country. So again, that's a good achievement. Now let's talk about the next news, which is that the government of India, it has placed a major thrust on construction of the water conservation and rainwater harvesting. Now, as you know that under the NAREGA scheme, we provide the employment, right? So to make sure that employment, it is directed, it is channelized through more productive resources in a more better way, we are trying to construct the rainwater harvesting systems as a part of the NAREGA. So it is like shooting two sparrows with one arrow. Okay? So one, we are providing the employment, and secondly, we are also constructing the rainwater harvesting platforms or rainwater harvesting structures, right? So these are the few few initiatives that government has undertaken to make sure that the groundwater level issues that our country is currently facing, we are addressing them. Okay? Chaliye. Next is the government initiatives to combat the milk adulteration. Okay, what are the steps that government has taken to combat the milk adulteration? Let's discuss about them. So first of all, through the Food Safety and Standards Authority of India, FSSAI, government enforces, okay, the Food Safety and Standards Act 2006 to make sure that the safe and wholesome food is available. Again, it is important to remember this act, that under which act we are provided the safe and the wholesome food. Right now, what are the steps which FSSAI undertakes to make sure that this particular act, it is well enforced? So the first step is that the FSSAI conducts regular monitoring activities, right? So monitoring activities are undertaken, okay, raids are being conducted to make sure that no adulteration is happening. The second is the mobile food testing laboratories. Okay? So instead of having just static food testing laboratories, we are now having the vehicles which are having a good the entire resource or the infrastructure which is required to test a particular commodity, and then we use this mobile lab to test at given different locations, right? The next is the National Program for Dairy Development, right? So this program, under this program, the Department of Animal Husbandry and Dairying, it supports the cooperatives and the milk producer institutions by providing them the financial assistance. So under this program, we provide the financial assistance to the cooperatives and the farmer producer organization, the milk producer organizations, with the financial assistance so that they can establish their own infrastructure for the milk testing, right? So these are the steps which the government is currently undertaking to make sure that the milk adulteration does not happen, right? Now, on this note, let's move towards the next news, and this is also going to be the last news for our today's session. This says that we have increased the budgetary allocation for the Department of Fertilizers, right? So currently, we have increased the final budget allocation for the Department of Fertilizers. It has been raised to 1,91,836 crores, right? And where are we going to use it? So first, it is going to be used for the nutrient based subsidy. So in the NBA scheme, we provide the phosphoric and the phosphatic and the potassium based fertilizers at a subsidized rate to the farmers, right? So we are going to, like, this particular budget, it is going to be used for the NBA scheme. So under this NBA scheme, we have this has been increased to 54,310 crores. The allocation for the NBA scheme, it has been increased to 54,310 crores from the initial 45,000 crores, right? Then the next other highlights are that the government, it is also going to monitor that the major fertilizers, their supply is being met. It is going to monitor the movement of the major subsidized fertilizers. How it is going to do that? It is going to do that through the IFMS initiative, right? So integrated fertilizer monitoring system. Through this particular system, we are going to monitor that the adequate supply of the fertilizers, it is available with the farmers, right? And then also the special packages have been provided for the diammonium phosphate to maintain its affordability for the farmers, right? So we are also going to subsidize the DAP fertilizer to make sure that it is available with the farmers. So on this note, we have covered all the news for our today's session. Now let us have the homework question. So this is the homework question. What is the primary function of the Food Safety on Wheels initiative operational across 35 states and the union territories? You have to write the answer of this particular question in the comment section below. I hope you like this session. If so, then please do let me know in the comment section. And also, if you want the PDF of this particular session, which is going to be a very important document, you can join our Telegram channel, and on our Telegram channel, you will find the PDF. Alright, so on this note, I am ending this session here. Thank you so much, and I wish you all the very best for your preparation.